The election results are in from Germany, but wait, these are not the national elections we're talking about. We're zooming in on the regional elections in Brandenburg. Now you might be thinking, why should I care about some local elections in Germany? Well, Chancellor Scholz and the ruling coalition have been struggling, to say the least. And these results could either provide a lifeline or bring the national elections forward. In this case, it was the former. These results bring some much needed good news for Scholz, as his party, the SPD, which has dominated Brandenburg since German reunification in 1991, just managed to hold on. But before we dive into the numbers, let's take a quick look at how German politics actually work. Germany's political system runs on federalism. At its core, federalism means that power is divided between the national government, the federal level, and the 16 individual states, known as Länder. Each of these Länder has its own parliament and government, giving them significant autonomy to make decisions on various issues. The federal government also has a parliament, called the Bundestag, and handles nationwide responsibilities like foreign policy, defense, immigration laws, and taxes. Meanwhile, the Länder have control over education, policing, cultural affairs, and healthcare, allowing them to tailor these areas to the specific need of their populations. This balance of power allows Germany to maintain national unity while respecting regional diversity. So in regional elections like Brandenburg's, voters choose representatives for their state parliament, the Landtag. And here's where it gets fun. German voters get 2 votes. Let's break it down using Sunday's election results in Brandenburg. The state is divided into 44 electoral districts. We'll focus on Spree-Neiße 2, district number 42. For the first vote, voters choose a direct candidate from their local area. The candidate with the most votes wins a seat in the Landtag, securing a direct mandate. In Spree-Neiße 2, that seat went to Michael Hanko from the AfD party. Now, if we look at Brandenburg as a whole, 44 seats in the Landtag are filled by these direct mandate winners from each district's first vote, with the AfD winning the most mandates. For the second vote, voters pick a party, not a specific person. This vote determines the overall composition of the state parliament. Now, looking at Brandenburg as a whole, most people use their second vote for the SPD, followed by the AfD, and then the BSW. To ensure proportionality, additional seats are added to the parliament, so that the overall representation matches the proportion of votes each party received in the second vote. For example, the SPD received 13 additional seats to get as close as possible to the 30.9% of the total second votes won. This system balances direct representation with proportional representation, ensuring that both the local favorites and the overall party preferences are reflected in the Landtag. Yes, it's a little bit over-engineered, but hey, we are talking about Germany here. So when you tally up the results of the first and second votes, here are the final numbers for Brandenburg. In a surprising twist, the SPD came out on top with 32 seats. The center-left party defied the polls from recent weeks and months that had the far-right AfD in the lead. You can almost hear Chancellor Olaf Scholz, also from the SPD, breathe a sigh of relief. His approval ratings have been dismal. Only 32% of Germans are satisfied with the job he's doing. So this unexpected victory in Brandenburg provides a much-needed boost for the party. The real credit for this win, however, goes to Dietmar Woidke, the SPD's lead candidate and Brandenburg's minister-president since 2013. Woidke remains popular in the state, with 61% of voters expressing satisfaction with his leadership over the last 5 years. Interestingly, Woidke had announced he would step down if the AfD emerged as the winner, an all-or-nothing gamble that seemed to have paid off. But what it comes down to is this. According to the exit polls, 75% of people who voted for the SPD did so not out of conviction, but to prevent the AfD from winning. This reveals the deep polarization in Brandenburg, where fear of the far right drove voters more than faith in the SPD's platform. That brings us to the second place, the far-right AfD, with 30 seats. The AfD is known for advocating strict migration policies, opposing support for Ukraine, and maintaining a generally Eurosceptic stance. Their lead candidate in Brandenburg, Hans-Christoph Berndt, joined the AfD in 2019 and has been classified as a right-wing extremist by the Brandenburg Office for Protection of the Constitution. In third is Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, in short BSW, grabbing 14 seats. Impressive for a party that didn't exist a year ago. Led by Sarah Wagenknecht, a former Left Party politician, BSW combines left-wing economic policies with more conservative views on migration and is staunchly against military support for Ukraine. In fourth place is the CDU, with 12 seats. The CDU is Germany's center-right party, home to figures like former Chancellor Angela Merkel and the current president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. As the main opposition to the federal government, this result is particularly disappointing for the CDU. Just days ago, the party announced its chancellor candidate, Friedrich Merz, to challenge Olaf Scholz, and a strong win in Brandenburg would have been an ideal start to his campaign. So these are the top 4 parties that managed to secure seats, while all the others, including the Greens and the FDP, both members of the current ruling coalition with the SPD, fell short of the 5% threshold. This is a significant setback, reflecting the widespread dissatisfaction with the coalition's performance. The real challenge now is determining which parties will form a coalition, a task made especially difficult by the fact that all parties have ruled out collaborating with the AfD. To form a governing coalition in Brandenburg, 45 seats are needed. One likely coalition would be between the SPD and the BSW, as their socially orientated policies may have significant overlap. However, the BSW's more controversial stances, particularly its opposition to military support for Ukraine, could create tensions and complicate their cooperation. Then there's the option of an SPD-CDU coalition, as they've governed together with the Greens over the past 5 years. However, since the Greens didn't secure any seats this time, the SPD-CDU partnership would fall short. Together they only have 44 seats, just 1 seat shy of the majority needed to govern. This makes the first coalition the only real possibility. Now that you've probably learned more about German state elections than you've ever wanted to, what does it all mean for Germany and the EU? In the short, not much will change, but in the long term, the political landscape could shift significantly. Germany's traditional parties are struggling in the east. Yes, the SPD technically won in Brandenburg, but it wasn't a victory driven by enthusiasm for the party or Chancellor Olaf Scholz. As exit polls showed, most voters support the SPD simply to block the far-right AfD. And as for the CDU, this election marked one of their worst results in Eastern Germany in years. And it's not just Brandenburg. Recent elections in Saxony and Thuringia also saw the AfD gaining ground, even winning the most seats in Thuringia. The trend is becoming clear. In the east, the AfD is rising, while the CDU and SPD are in steady decline, at least for now. However, it's important to remember that Eastern Germany is distinct from the rest of the country. Nationally, the CDU is still projected to perform very well, with the AfD in second place and the SPD in a disappointing third. This has resulted in speculation that Scholz could face a fate similar to Joe Biden's, a leader seemingly unaware of just how unpopular he's become, potentially being pushed out before the next election cycle. But what do you think? Are you happy with the German election results? Let us know in the comments, and please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like the content. And if you want to support us further, please sign up to Patreon. Until next time.